Do you think it was wrong for him to point out that he was called corny in high school?
Yes.
You do?
That's corny.
I mean, yeah. But
That was corny. That was him trying to shit on them. And listen, that's corny.
yeah.
When you're on top, you don't need to tell people you're on top. It's clear that you're on top. I don't have to come on here if tomorrow I made we did a deal. Let's say tomorrow we did a deal. Mm-hmm. We got paid $100 million. I don't need to walk around and be like, yo, yeah, nah, I'm gonna do your interview, but remember you called me broke though? Yo, fuck you, because you called me broke. Why? Why's that? I don't need to be like, yeah, you see this suit? Yeah, nah, yeah, you know, Dapper Dan custom made it. Why? Because you're fucking corny. That's why. When you're good at something, you don't need to tell people you're good at it. Well, you don't have to walk around and say, hey, I'm the man now. Ha 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 ha. You don't need to do that. Now, here's what I don't understand. Why is this a conversation? I think people have a hard time accepting what they are, including Michael B. Jordan. I didn't want to talk about this here. I feel like this is not a topic for here, but you asked, I'll answer. Yes, I think that was corny. Do I know if Michael B. Jordan is corny outside of what he did in that moment? I have no fucking clue. I don't follow his personal life. I just know the roles that he's done and done a great job of doing. And I applaud those roles. Great films. And him and Ryan Coogler, I feel like together they cannot miss. I've said that before. But in that moment, was he corny? Yeah. Why is him being corny a conversation when there's mad other shit going on? I feel like people, in the words of Dre, major in the minors. Who gives a fuck if he's corny? It doesn't matter if he's corny. Guess what? Everybody still want to fuck him. Everybody still want to pay him to act. He's still making millions of dollars. It's not stopping anything. Michael B. Jordan should accept that he's corny for that. I don't know about anything else in life, but that shit was corny. And it made him look like he proved the point. To me, if somebody says, hey, you know, you be doing some real suspect shit, I be seeing the way you be looking at girls. I seen one time you tried to grab a titty, but then you moved your hand because the camera was there. And then we see you do the same shit. Mm. Guess what? It looked like that's your style.
Yeah, but I would argue that some girls calling you corny in high school versus him being called corny for pointing it out at his big age now is probably not the same thing. I agree with the fact that
no, I disagree totally.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
I agree with the fact that you don't. It's not worth it to him to call it out today. I don't think it is. What I do think is that people are human, and I think that this thought that there is no one who is ever going to try to, I guess, get a comeuppance on someone who treated them a certain way is just not realistic. I think that, sure, if it's corny, it's corny. But the reality of the situation is Michael B. Jordan honestly showed us how normal he is in that moment, because I think there's plenty of people who would love to run into somebody who shit on them back in high school so they could show that their life changed. I'm not saying it's not corny. I'm just saying that's something that I'm sure that there were plenty of people who could identify with Michael B. Jordan in that moment, because there's plenty of people who have been bullied. I don't know what the situation was. I've heard people talk about this more than I've actually sought out the real story.
But
I up to now have not heard exactly what was said. I did not hear his apology. I know that he apologized or whatever it was.
That makes me even more mad. Go ahead.
Or maybe I shouldn't call it an apology, because I know that he came out and he said something about it. I know that he spoke about it. I know that she also spoke about it, I think, on her podcast that she does with the person who actually said it. But outside of that, I didn't really seek out any of this information. This is all I've heard. But I do see, I could see where someone would be like, oh, it's you. You're the one who, oh yeah. Funny how life is that you're interviewing me.
But why you wait till the cameras are on to say that? You agreed to do the interview.
Did he know it was her?
Of course he knew it was her.
I don't know who called out who. Like, I don't know if she said, oh, we went to high school together. Or...
That's not who he went to high school with, and that's my whole point.
I thought he went to high school with both of them.
No. That's the whole thing. The woman does a show with someone else.
Right.
The someone else is who called him corny back in high school.
Oh, I thought it...
And so it's like me and you doing this show.
Uh-huh.
And so now you see Michael B. Jordan. And he's like, oh, ain't you from that whack-ass podcast where the dude said I was corny still? Why? Why are you... What's the point? You know why? Because you're corny.
Well, maybe I didn't have enough information. I don't know.
They were on the red carpet. They went to do the interview. Even if he didn't know. Even if he just turned around and was, oh, it's you. He didn't say, no, I don't want to do the interview.
No, he didn't.
So you stood there and agreed to do the interview.
Well, because he wanted that to happen.
Because he's corny.
Which is
in
fine.
that moment. I'm not saying all throughout his life. What he did on that red carpet, that was some corny shit.
And I guess the only thing that I'm saying about then versus now is typically when a girl calls you corny in high school, it probably don't have, like, it's probably not that deep, right?
But fam, think about this. High school. Let's say it was right before senior graduation. You 17 years old, 18 years old. Right? How old is Michael B. Jordan today? 36, 37? Fam, so you still thinking about some shit from 20 years ago?
Yeah.
You know why? Because you have an identity crisis. Because you haven't accepted the shit that's going on. You know what Michael B. Jordan is worth today? You directing great movies. You a star in Marvel. Mad shit. You getting crazy checks, crazy stuff. You just finished dating who everyone thinks is the hottest chick on the planet. Not me. But who everyone is sweating. The woman no one will shut up about. You just had a great relationship with her, allegedly. So you got the flyest woman, all the money. Now you're directing what you know is a hit because you directed the movie. You know what's about to happen. You had the Amazon meetings.
But he's also...
And now you still think about that shit?
But he's... You know why?
Enough to call her co-host out for it? That's mad corny.
You know, okay, maybe I misunderstood the story and the way it happened on the red carpet. So, and my apologies to anybody watching or listening if I don't have all the facts. But now I forgot what I was going to say.
Corny.
No, I was just going to point out the fact that Michael B. Jordan has been acting since he was a kid.
Yeah.
So I hear what you're saying. And I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not disagreeing with you that it isn't corny. I'm just wondering if you started acting when you were a kid, you were on whatever it was, General Hospital, All My Children, whatever the soap opera was that he was on. That's where he got his start.
I didn't even know that.
Then you do The Wire. Okay.
That's where we know him.
That was short-lived. I remember him when he was on whatever soap opera it was.
Wasn't he on some Nickelodeon shit too?
Yeah, so he's had a very long career, but and I guess we don't really look at him today because it's been so long. We don't look at him as that kid from back then. But I'm also thinking to myself, yes, he's 36. Yes, it's been something like 17,
it's been 20
18,
years.
Almost 20 years. So is it possible that this is like that stuff that stays with you because you never really get a chance to get over it? Like you go from being a normal kid to superstar actor. Like he launches into his career as he's in school. Does that Is that why he never evolved from that? It's kind of like when we talk about child stars and how there are a lot of child stars that have had some difficulties as they become adults because of this life that they kind of get thrown into. I'm just wondering if that's the reason why that even means something to him today. I would be curious. I don't know. And, that's between him and his therapist. But, yes. Is it corny to now go and call somebody out? Sure.
But you're not even calling out the person. That's my thing. Like, people are making an argument that he's justified. I don't think he's justified. But even if he is, that's not even the person. Yeah. That's like I see your sister 10 years from now and be like, oh yeah, you the sister of that bitch that did blah blah. What?
Right. I thought he had gotten the women mixed up or something like that. I don't know. I would have to look it up, and it's not really that important. But
that shit is corny. Again, I'm not saying he's corny throughout his entire life, like a lot of people are saying. I don't know. I'm not passing judgment on any of that. I don't even know where that's stemming from.
And that's the other thing. A lot of people talk about how he is corny. I've heard.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't know those things.
It's kind of like John Legend. How a lot of men in particular talk about how corny John Legend is, and John Legend is this, and John Legend. I think John Legend is pretty dope.
This is what I'm saying. I don't follow none of this stuff. Like, that's why
Oh, your favorite podcast used to talk about it all the time.
I missed that. I must have missed that. I don't have any knowledge. No, I believe you. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I mean, all I know is what he did in that moment, it was corny, yes. And again, like my original point, you could be the corniest motherfucker on the planet and still be great at your job. I don't know why people are trying to mix the two and include, oh, the corny guy, blah, 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 killer movie, oh, the corny guy directed, blah, blah. Yo, fam, one has nothing to do with the other.
It doesn't.
Zero.
Well, okay. I mean, I don't really know what to... Speaking of petty, Chris Rock.